Hello and welcome back. I'm Randy Newbert from VoodooFX. In today's video, we'll be showing off a new actual personal project that I have been waiting to do for a long time. And anyway, I wanted to share it with you. This is not my normal video, but again, I can't contain myself enough. I want everybody to see this big project that I'm working on. So here we go. Okay guys, well, I think you guys can see what I've got here. This is a large, very large scale Blade Runner blimp. And I have been dying to do this project for a long time. This project has started some years back with Dream Studios. And we've done a lot of backup research and development that's gone into it over the years. And we finally came up with a really good solution, or I should say Dream Studios came up with a great solution in collaboration with another 3D printer that was doing basically a filament print of this version of the blimp. This became kind of a problem when we were first originally going back and forth with Dream Studios doing this collaboration. Was the biggest problem was making a large scale model that would be lightweight enough and tough enough to handle having a large shell like this. We went through iterations of doing vacuum forms. It was going to end up being, we wanted to do a resin print of it. Again, weight value was really, poor in that area. And, we're worried about it potato chipping. And, but now we have the solution. And the solution came to be that we found out that we could get it done in a very nice filament print for the main shells. And as you can see right here, this is currently the bottom half. This is the one that I'm starting to work with. And then over here is the top piece. So just to give you kind of an idea of scale, again, I wanted to kind of show both pieces and kind of how they came as far as the overall look and style of what these are. So let me break this down to you. So this model is broken down into a few sections, and I'm going to pull them apart a little bit. So these two, a front, or bow and an aft section, are separate, actual separate parts, and then this larger section of the bottom is broken into 4 pieces, and I'm just going to kind of bust that apart so you can kind of get an idea of how this thing's broken down. Now, the printer that did this and set up this model, which he did a really awesome job at laying this model out and really getting it ready, again, with gusseting. And he developed a nice system to actually assemble these parts with little key blocks that you slide through. And again, it's just a really thought out and well engineered piece. I have to give it to him that when he thought this process through, he really designed a really great filament print. I mean, I am totally satisfied with this filament print, and I feel this will hold up over long term with no problem, just because of the way that he gusseted it and built in the structure to it. So it's really strong. This model is very robust. So let me start off with the first piece. I'm just going to show you this first little part. I'm going to bring it up a little closer in screen here so maybe you guys can get a little better view of it. But so as he's made these parts, you can see that in the body lines, it has, this heavy gusseting in it. And as I pull through more of the parts, you'll see, again, the quality of the print for a filament is just excellent. This is just a top-notch filament print and will require very little work to get these model actually you know, smoothed down, sanded, maybe a little filler primer. I'm not a big filler primer fan, but some guys love it. Myself, I just build it up until I get it, you know, smooth. So, you know, again, I rather use primer and a little bit of putty to fill the gaps and to smooth it out, and that's usually about enough. So anyway, so again, first part, and then what he's done is, and you can't really see it in here, but I think I'll have some other photos that will be linked to this or in and out of the video here. But he's marked them, like, see, this one says B1. So this is the bottom first part. And they're all marked on all the pieces, so you really can't screw it up, which I love that, you know, as far as making it simplified and easy for a model builder to actually build it. And again, it just takes all the no-brainer, you know, effect out of it. And then again, you see in here, these areas are made for these little locking keys. And I'll go into a little more detail about that in a few here once I get through the model part a little more. But anyway, that is basically how all the parts are designed and developed and put together. I'm going to go through some of the larger sections now. So on this one, this is B4 and B5. So these two large pieces, and again, you can see they have gusseting and they have holing that's already into the model. And again, I think you guys get an idea of the scale of this thing. It is massive. I mean, this, if you want a real big, like studio scale size blimp, this is the one to really get because, again, it checks all the boxes. But anyway, so when it comes down to these parts, like see, these two, you can even hear them, just the smoothness of the way that they go together. But these parts are marked, again, to be assembled, and this is how the assembly works. You know, and here's your main body pieces kind of just put together. I'm going to try to break away after I get a little farther in this video to actually assemble one whole half so you guys actually have an idea. But again, I'll have to take a little break in between the video to actually fit it and get the keys in here and kind of lock it down, and so that way you can see it and see how big one half of this model is. I mean, again, it's probably 30 inches, maybe, you know, grand total with all the hardware and the gondola and all the other stuff. This thing might be 32 to 36 inches long. I mean, this is a big model. So anyway, so those are some of the key parts. Again, heavily gusseted, got all the keying in there. And again, it only goes one certain way. And that's really nice because, you know, then it just takes the hassle out of putting it together. Then I'm going to go back to these two parts. So here's another mating set of parts. And this happens to be B3 and B2. So I'm working my way backwards here a little bit from front to back. But again, you see the pieces. Here they are. Again, huge. I mean, let me step out of camera here for 1 second just to get a cross-section look. I think it's 13.5 inches wide. I mean, just right there, right? So, I mean, that's pretty big as far as, again, scale. You can kind of judge it against me, too, to get an idea. But, man, you should just see if you could just see the quality. The quality of the filament print is really, I'm so impressed with the quality that they made out of this, out of filament. I couldn't print a model this well in this kind of scale on my filament machine. So whatever kind of filament printing they're using, and this gentleman is out of Canada, and who's doing these filaments prints. And again, I'm going to go into a little more detail about that. And so here, and then the final part, just like the first part, again, here is you can kind of see the gusseting. You can see that the drill outs in here. This is for hardware, you know, tons of wiring, electrical. This thing can be really jammed, packed full of electronics if that's the route you're going for the buildup. Or it can be just a straight static build, you know. I mean, it all depends on the builder. and how they want to handle it and do it. And this part is B1. So this is the bottom part, number 1. So this actually is kind of like, I guess, the front of the model, or the bottom front section. It'd be like, that is the front half right there. And anyway, there's a lot of other add-on parts that go with this, but Dream Studios has all the additional add-on parts for this model. So, I mean, he's got all the gondola, there's little engine thrusters that are on the model, light boxes, and these are available either, I think he's gonna have them in both versions of, you know, a model that you could print on your own, or he has currently, and I can't stress this enough, and I'm not trying to do a sales pitch here, but he has 2 complete versions of this currently. So when these models were made and developed, he got 1 prototype test shot, and again, we were both, you know, when I saw it, I was blown away at the quality for a filament print. I was like, okay, this is the way to go. This is going to work. And currently, Dream Studios has 2 of these complete. So he has 2 complete full kits, and he's working on getting all the additional parts. So when you go to purchase this, this will be a full, the filament printed bodies and all the resin detail parts that go with it. Now, I think you'll have to provide, like, there's tons of brass and all these extra parts. You'll have to provide that on your own, which is not too big of a deal, but you will have to invest that on your own. That, I don't think that will come in the kit. It's not very common that any model builders have all those little brass and, you know, whatever, a mount, whatever it is. Those are usually parts that have to be supplied or produced by the actual builder. So anyway, but I had to share this model with you, just because I've been waiting to do this project for years. And prior to that, we were trying to work our way back. I really got excited when I finally saw Jason Eaton's version, and I was like, oh man, somebody finally did it. I was like so excited to see the model. And then anyway, also Chris from Dream Studios was like, you know, we got to do one of those blimps someday. We were just going to have to do it. And he's also a big enthusiast of the Blade Runner stuff. So he's like, I'm going to finally get in there, and I'm actually going to design the model and do it. And this, again, this was a long project for him. I got to give it to Chris. He really spent a lot of R&D getting this thing together. And what's also really cool about this model is when you get it, he has like all the decal layouts. Like there's a whole bunch of all the little placements of the screens and the lights and everything. I mean, this thing is loaded full of hardware. So anyway, I just started printing some of the first parts today on my own. But again, when I talked to him about this before I was going to make the video, I asked him if you're going to have a fully ready to go kit. And he said yes. He said these first 2 that he's going to send out for 2 lucky builders. And I don't know when these will come back around. So again, you know, these are one of these kind of holy grail models. So you really, if you're really into it, you should pick it up when you have a chance to pick it up, because I've seen them over the years, and I've been doing this for a long time, that these things kind of come and go. So, you know, and then usually when they're gone, they're gone. You won't have a chance to get it back. So again, not to really sell the sales pitch, but if you're really into Blade Runner and you really love the blimp, this is the one to get for sure. So anyway, I'm not going to go into any more details on this. I want to do a little bit of a dry fit up of this model and kind of get an idea, but I'm even going to show you a couple more parts that come with it. So you get this, you know, you get the 2 main body halves, you get this, the top and bottom shells. Again, these are the same style shells, exactly the same as the bottom section that I showed you over there, but just in the top version. These are a little bit different. They're not the same. So everybody's like, oh, they're the same. No, really, they are not really the same. They're a little bit different. So anyway, 2 halves of the shells. And then what you get is, you get all these little keys, and these little keys come in, you know, they're just come in a little baggie. And these are what go through those holes and lock the model down. So you can kind of dry fit it with these keys. They're really tight. And then once the keys are all in place and you're really happy with the alignment and everything, then you just come back and use a little thin CA and drizzle it in the gaps without getting too, you know, messy with it. And then afterwards, I'll come back and I'll really glue the inside. And then after that even goes through, I'll probably end up glassing the entire seam. So in that way, it's really super robust. You're not, if you drop it or whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna hold together. So that's what I usually do on models like this, especially if it's a large scale filament print like this. So anyway, so you get these to come with the kit, and you get the 2 big display screens. So, you know, you get both on, you get these 2, again, both, you know, port and starboard screen displays. And this is where you see the video of the Asian woman in the off-world and all that. These are what are on these screens. Again, these are filament print. They can be easily cut out. We're going to work on some alternatives on how we're going to get the video screens to actually work. So I'm kind of slowly working my way through figuring out what the best solution is. And I'm thinking what I'm going to use is either a OLD or some kind of an organic screen, possibly driven by some kind of a Raspberry Pi or something that will play video and play it how I want it to loop. So then that way, you know, there's been other guys that have tried other things to try to get this thing to work right. But I know as a builder, it's one of those things where you want to turn on the model, all the lights come on, the display works, it just keeps, the video keeps looping over and over, and maybe it's got sound in it or whatever. And again, these could be mounted on a big display box. You know, they could be mounted on just one hard mount coming off it like they did on the original. And also too is, I have to make a decision, is when I go to actually assemble this, if I really want to go full studio and really do it right, I actually will only have the display on one side, and I will not detail the back half or the back side of the model, because again, it's not seen in screen. So I might go for the full studio effect where, you know, there's nothing on one side, or I shouldn't say nothing. There's just not going to be all the detail on one side, but the detail will be only focused on the top, side, and bottom. And then the, you know, the one side that's you know, not exposed would not have heavy finishes on it. So anyway, again, this is something way down the line that I got to make a decision on. But at this stage, this is really early in the game. But again, I wanted to share this with you. And by the way, too, this was my Christmas present to myself. As a builder, I had to pick one. So I was thinking about another one that I was going to do, but this one was really burning in the back of my head for a long time. And then when I found out that it was available and he was starting to get closer to actually having the model ready, I was like, oh man, I got to jump on this now and just do it, and just purchase it, and you know, and get the kit, and then I've got something. At least I have a base to start working on. And what's cool is a lot of the parts that come with it, you know, again, can be 3D printed by yourself. So see you bust a part or something, you could always print it on your own. But again, he's gonna have 2 complete packages that have all the parts. So you won't have to do anything but just work on building it, you know, which is what model builders do. So again, I'm gonna try to flip in another part of this video where I actually will show you the this model, this half assembled. I'm hoping what I need to do is, and this, I can't stress this one enough. I think you guys will understand this, but when you got a filament print, especially in this scale, the parts are good to park for a little while, right? It's not usually too bad. And in this scale, they'll probably hold pretty well as far as they won't warp or potato chip or, you know, do some weird stuff, right? But if you let them go long enough and they're in hot and cold, you know how the weather conditions come, they're up and down, they will start to warp over time. So it's kind of crucial in the first, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, you should probably get the main body halves assembled. If they're assembled and together, then now it's working as one big massive model. So it'll have, even if it does twist or deflect, it won't have as much impact as far as the build goes. But if you leave them individual, I've done it before, I've parked the model, I'll get back to it in a little while, and you know, a year or two goes by, I go to pull the parts out of the box and they're tweaked, right? So it's kind of crucial on these style filament prints to get them assembled and get the model started. Yeah, you can park it after you get the two main halves together for a little while. But again, you know, from experience, even with resin prints as well too, they must sit, you know, in an area where they can stay flat and they can stay together. So what I'll do with this one is I'll probably end up, when I get the two halves together, I'll probably band it, you know, with some either I could put bungees around it. You know, it's so big scale, I can, you know, but I'll do something to keep the two halves sandwiched together. And then that way they'll stay long term for a long time. But you got to have one heck of a big box, right? This is a big model. So, you know, again, this will be a long-term build. I don't expect this thing, you know, please do not expect me to pop this thing out like overnight. This will probably take me, since I'm gonna light it, this is probably, let me say this very loosely. This will probably be a 12-month, you know, this will be a 1-year project, give or take. And it'll probably go a little longer because I'm also in transition of moving and leaving this location. So there's going to be an area in the next, you know, 6 months that I'll be relocating. So I'll be in a little bit of disarray at that stage. So again, don't expect anything to like overnight, you know, okay, hey, the model's done. You know, I'm sure a lot of people, whoever buys the other two kits will probably beat me to the punch. But again, I wanted to share this with you. I thought this would be a great little Christmas treat for everybody to see. And I'll have, please, if you want to pick up this model, get a hold of Dream Studios. I'll have their link to go over there and contact him. And then that way you can get on his list. I think these first two models will go like overnight. So once this video's out, I hate to say it, but they might be already purchased and gone. Because again, this is a rare kit, and especially in this scale, you know, so they'll go fast. But I've already, when I talked to Dream Studios about this just, you know, a few days back, he said that there still might be a chance for guys to get on the list and then they can run another round. So, you know, again, many times the actual printer will want, you know, since we don't know what his schedule is, maybe he's got other projects, this and that, whatever it is. You know, again, you got to kind of work with designers a little bit on that edge of it. And, you know, but he was pretty convinced that he might be able to get a second round if he can get an ongoing list of guys that actually want the model. So again, contact him, try to snap up these first two kits that are going to be available. And then if you're really interested, get on his list, prepay your model, and then that way they're committed, he's committed, and you'll end up getting the model. So anyway, let me end it at that. I don't want to go any farther with the video. Again, I just wanted to share this with you guys as kind of a little, this is again my little Christmas, you know, this is my Christmas present. So I just had to share it with everybody to show it because again, this is one of those projects, it's a holy grail project, a long time in the making and very satisfying to have it in my collection. And by the way, too, I already know what guys are gonna do. They always do it to me. Is they're gonna ask me, "Oh, how much is it? How much is it built?" Well, it's not for sale. So I'll leave it at that. Unless your checkbook is really, really thick, this will be not a model that I will part through my collection. You can contact Dream Studios. He might be able to commission a build. I don't know, maybe a static build. Who knows? You know, he's a good builder. He builds much faster than I do. But again, I just want to make it really clear. This is a personal project in my own personal collection. And again, so if you're going to ask that, you know, hey, was it going to be for sale when you're done with it? Well, everything's for sale. But most people won't have the budget to pay what it'll end up costing because I'm going to put there'll be a lot of money in into this model and into the build. So again, you know, everything's always up there for grabs, but this is not really one that I would like to part with, period. So anyway, I'll end the video on this. I'm going to try to jump in with one more little quick version of this thing together. And again, thanks for watching the videos. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of good content in there. And again, thank you to all the subscribers. If I didn't have you guys helping support me and watching the videos and really enjoying them, there'd be no reason for me to do the videos. But I do appreciate you guys watching them. And, you know, again, the more subscribers we get, the more it drives me to make the videos. So again, please subscribe and enjoy the videos. Make any comments you like, you know, and that's it, you know. And again, have fun. You know, modeling is a great experience. And I'm so blessed that I've had all these years to actually make models and, you know, enjoy the building process. So again, get out there and build something, right? I think that's what somebody else says that. I think Phil Seagal says that. You know, go out there and build something. It's a great saying because you know why? It has a lot of truth to it. So anyway, thanks again, and again, we'll see you on the next video.